Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Nico, and joining with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. Apologies again for my performance last episode.
No apologies needed. It was a fun show. Check
For
it out.
check it out. I kind of had a birthday celebratory episode last time, guys. So make sure to check that one out. And it was right before St. Patrick's Day, so I had quite a few drinks before I got on the air with Chris there. So it was a lot of fun. Hopefully for both of us. I don't know. But yeah, it was a good one. I had a good time. I don't really remember it all too much, but it should be some interesting comic talk there. But yeah, check it out, guys, if you missed last episode. And here we are, episode 171. It's our weekly comic book review show here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. As always, give us a thumbs up to hit that like button. And make sure you check out the videos. This week, we're going to be talking about new comics that came out for the week of March 19th, 2025. And also make sure to check in the feed. Shortly after this episode airs, we will be dropping a new episode of comic book solicitations as well for you for you guys. Is this for June or July now that we're talking? I think it's June.
I think it's June, yeah.
Yeah. So, those are the videos now we put out separately outside of this show, where we talk about upcoming comic book solicits, where, DC, Marvel, they kind of put out the books that they'll be releasing in a couple of months ahead of time, because that's how pre-ordering goes. So that's kind of where me and Chris highlight what we're looking forward to checking out somewhere down the line. So those episodes are always really good. Make sure to check them out. Those come out monthly as well on top of our weekly shows. And spoiler warning, be forewarned, we are going to be talking about what happens in the books here today. If you're worried about getting spoiled, you can always read your books and then come back and check us back out. All right, Chris.
All right, let's talk comics. Cheers.
Let's talk some comics. Cheers. There we go. Back to drinking beer. Couldn't keep a good man down, Chris. Couldn't stop me. Couldn't stop me from coming back and drinking beer on the show here once again. All right. First up on the docket here today, we got Absolute Flash #1 from Jeff Lemire and artist Dick Robles, I think is his name. Yeah, new to me as far as I'm concerned. I'm not too familiar with the name. But what'd you think of this, Chris?
I thought it was okay. I thought the art was pretty decent. It kind of impressed me in the beginning. But the story of the Flash, I'm kind of just, I know what I know pretty much through the movies. I'm pretty familiar with his history there. And it looks like, I guess that's the whole absolute movie, or this absolute universe is they're taking a different turn. So it's just interesting to see kind of how all the people sort of fit in. I guess there's Barry Allen's there. He's some doctor on some army base. And I guess his father's in the picture, in his original, I guess, origin, his father was in jail or something. So it's really kind of moving away from that original, I guess, Barry Allen history or origin. So, I don't know. It sort of reminds me a bit of the Hulk there, like the early Hulk days. They're stuck on some army base and he's all out there flying around and doing what he does. And did they really say when he got his powers? Was he when he was just sitting there playing the guitar or something? Or did they really go into like when he got zapped?
Well, yeah. So this one is focused on not only Barry, but Wally as well. Wally is the main Flash in this book, it looks like, because it looks like Barry gets taken out this issue. I don't know what the hell happened there, but yeah, you're right. Barry is the one that is experimenting, it seems like, with the Flash powers first in this lab, in this issue. But then I guess Wally comes across it as well. And then I think he disrupts whatever's going on in the lab there. And then maybe that's how he gets his powers. That's kind of,
it wasn't super clear how, when exactly he got his powers or what happened. But it was an interesting read nonetheless. Then I guess at the end, they did reference some other characters, like maybe that been Captain Boomerang or something with them that was sort of chasing him. I'm not sure who the other person might have been, but it's okay.
Well, it's Captain Boomerang, and then the guy at the end of the issue, I think, is supposed to be Mirror Master.
There's Mr. Freeze too, isn't he? There with when he pulls down those goggles.
Captain Cold, yeah.
Captain Cold, sorry.
Yeah. So that's the rogues basically. Like
Yeah.
Flash actually has a great set of like a rogues gallery. He has a lot of really fun villains. Outside of Batman, it's actually my favorite set of villains for DC characters. I actually really like the rogues. But these are kind of like more militarized versions of those characters, kind of in that sense. Like they are the same type of characters. Like you can find certain things about like their characteristics or their weaponry here that will make you be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's this guy. But they're kind of like more down to earth, like grounded, real life versions of these people, like more like militarized kind of weaponry and this kind of stuff, which is kind of in line sort of what we're seeing over in Absolute Superman as well a little bit, right? Like I think this is definitely like a more real world kind of approach. Not everyone's got powers. Some people got like tech and stuff like that, it seems like. And that's kind of what these rogues, it seems like they're out there track. You're right though. I think purposely the story, because he's kind of not used to his powers, is bouncing around in this issue. Like it seems like he's kind of like not used to, like he seems like he's running and he's losing control of his powers at times, and you're not really, and it's kind of flashing back to the like a future, like it's some stuff in the present, and there's some stuff that it seems like it's jumping to the future. So, but it was mainly just a big setup issues for the most part. This was the big, I guess, reveal here during the issue, though. It looks like something happens, he loses track of time, and he ends up killing Barry, or Barry ends up getting killed somehow. It looks like it, anyways. That looks like his body. And and like you said, his father's in this instead of the whole thing with the mother there getting killed and him getting blamed for it with that, but with Barry's whole origin. But his father's a dick in this. It seems like he's kind of like, I don't know, he's not very kind to him in this issue, and Barry's kind of like trying to be nice to him because he's basically one of these kids that lives on a army base that kind of bounces around. What are they called? Army brats or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like essentially. It was a good setup issue, I think, but I liked it. I think I am a big Flash fan, actually. I've read a lot of Flash and collected editions over the last like little while of being into comics. I find that I'm a big fan of this character. So far so good in my opinion. You liked it as well, though, it sounds like.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I don't think I'll be following up, picking this up, but I'll definitely give it a few issues to read it and see where it goes.
Okay, what'd you give this?
I get a 3.75.
Yeah, I agree. I think I will be continuing to pick this up because, like I said, I like the Flash and I like Jeff Lemire, so that's reason enough, I think, for me to continue checking it out. But we'll see. We'll see how the next few issues go. Next up, we got Absolute Batman number 6.
Yeah, sick cover. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
and with Nick Dragotta back on the art duties. Wow, that's some kick-ass art in here, that's for sure. I could have done without more of this back history, enough of the back history of Batman when he's little kids. Why can't we just freaking just see them and okay, they're friends. Great, whatever. Croc isn't a crocodile yet, and he's one of Batman's friends. Outside of that, though, I thought the story moved along really well. And Batman's kicking some ass in here. I don't know. That one scene where he kicks that little kid.
Yes, Chris. That was my favorite part. I was hoping you brought that out. He literally like yeets this kid. He like grabs him and he just like he football kicks him. And he's like, ah.
And, for this Batman that's not supposed to, if it's still this, he's not supposed to kill people. He is coming pretty goddamn close. He's like smashing the hell out of everybody. Like this is more of a Punisher type Batman than anything else. And I'm all for it. I love it.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'm so when I finished reading this, I'm like, okay, Chris has gotta like this one because I know you've been kind of down on this title, but this was an action-filled issue that it's been leading up to this whole time. You know what I mean? Like, and he just whooped serious ass and also got his ass whooped as well in this issue. Like, he gets fucked up pretty good too. But between him kicking the field goal with that guy, and
I saw this sort of in a preview. Like, oh, there must be some context to this, but basically there isn't. Like, it's not like this is an adult or anything. It's just some little kid that comes at him and he just hoofs him.
No, I mean, he's trying to stab him. I don't know if it's like a little
Yeah,
person or like, but he's one of his goons, like whatever this.
yeah, but even still, it's a kid. You can't just freaking hoof a kid, even though they're coming at you.
Is it a kid though, or is it a little person? We don't know. Like it could be, right? Like, why would this kid be on the
Either
boat? Like,
or, it's still not good.
I don't know, but either way, and it was one of those scenes where after she sees him boot this guy, he turns around and just jumps off the boat. He's like, "Yeah, I'm out."
He's kicking a little kid and not going to do it. He's not going to hold back on a girl. I'm out.
Fantastic scene, but then when he actually gets up in what's his face's face there, Black Mask,
Bionic or whatever, yeah.
Every piece of this guy's suit is like a weapon. He extends his ears.
His ears are probably they come down.
So sick. This is my favorite issue of the series so far. Honestly, like, I agree with you that I could have done without like the flashbacks, but this is the end of the arc. Maybe now, because the next 2 issues are going to be drawn by another artist. Marcos Martin is coming on board for the next 2. I hope they kind of start steering away from that and focusing now after this setup of the first arc on like the main storyline, because where they even ended it with Alfred there coming to his aid at the end after he got his ass whooped. Well, he whooped ass, but he was rough. He was messed up pretty bad at the end there. But yeah, so I just
didn't the boat blow up that they were on or something?
Yeah, and like it's. I mean, listen, look, he gets that thing. Like he gets pretty messed up in this. But that's what I liked about it too. Is this is kind of like Batman Year One style. Like he's still learning the ropes, kind of right. Like so, using and then his friends find out that he's Batman in this issue as well, which is kind of like a big deal because like all of them like on their own have all been like I guess getting in his way, like, you know what I mean? The district attorney guy and like the Riddler is the only one that I guess guessed that it was him, and he had revealed to Croc that it's him in this issue. So like he's like revealing now to his friends because he needs their help instead of them against him, because I guess systematically like they're all up against him within the city, like because he's been causing a lot of issues. So I I dug this a lot. This was a great issue, honestly. I'm really happy about that because I've wanted to like this book a lot.
Yeah, they needed a good issue here too. Like this was the banger for sure. Yeah. And then the ending too. You can't. It really excites you for what might be coming.
Yeah, some Joker stuff going on there. What the hell is going on with this thing at the end though? Like, what is that? Like, why does he have like things over him? Like, what the hell's going on there?
Who knows? Looks like they're bringing in Bane.
Is that Bane or was that Joker?
No, he's calling in Bane there, I think.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry, that kind of looked like Joker to me at the end there, and I couldn't.
Yeah, no, that's Joker there, and I think Joker's the one calling in Bane.
Yes. That's right. Yeah, good stuff. I honestly like. You're right. We needed this issue, and he delivered at the end of this arc, and he kind of placed us in a spot where I haven't been this excited about the book since like probably the start of the book, honestly. So I'm looking forward to the next one. What'd you give this?
I might push up to a 4.25.
Agreed. Just for the kick, honestly.
That page where he jumps out of the plane or something.
Yeah.
And it's just a full page there. That was off. That's worth price admission too.
Yeah. This one here. I think I had that up earlier. Yeah, right there. That was pretty sick. Yeah, so good stuff. Okay, next up we got One World Under Doom #2. I got the T-Rex here.
You got the T-Rex covered. Nice.
Yeah. I had to get one with him.
Yeah, I just got the A cover.
Oh yeah, nice. Yep. What'd you think of this, Chris?
I'm starting to dig this whole One World Under Doom. I think this one here. This is where he was talking to what's her name?
Valeria.
Yeah. And she thought, and I just like the relationship between Doom and Valeria. Like, that it was put on display here, and how they're, how he's very truthful to her, and he kind of lays it all out. And I don't believe he's lying to Valeria, and what he puts out there, he kind of lays out his plan, and it seems to make sense.
How about them coming to Toronto?
Yeah.
He's trying to.
I know what that was about, but he spent a lot of time there.
Brings her to Toronto and describes
City Hall.
Describes democracy to her. He's like, "What's up with this democracy?"
Why didn't they have a mayor in the background? But anyways, yeah, I thought, well, it doesn't hurt whenever Toronto's in a comic, at least for me. It's always fun to see.
Sure.
And yeah, just all the stuff that's going on. I like how it freaking Fantastic Four sort of get punked. The Avengers are sort of in here trying to figure out what to do. And at the end, they got to be thinking twice because I guess the Masters of Evil sort of reveal themselves that they're sort of on board trying to get Doom off the table or off the board. But that Masters of Evil team is not looking that super strong, like as Masters of Evil. But I guess you take what you take, or take what you get. But you imagine the Avengers got to be thinking twice if they got to be teaming up with all these villains just for this. But Doom makes a lot of points. He really sticks it to Mr. Fantastic, and well, I guess he takes the thing out, or heals the thing. I don't know if you want to call him heal him or whatever he did to him.
Well, that's what it is. That's what it is. Not only did he show up Reed by doing that, he also depowers the thing. Yeah, that's the brilliance of the move, right? He's like, yeah, guess what? I could do this thing that you've had so many issues with. Watch this. And then as a result, they're down a person now. Like, this guy can't do anything now, Ben. Like,
I think when the Fantastic Four leaves, like Dr. Doom's, and I imagine you guys are going to pay for all the damage here too. It's like sticks another little knife into him. So it's good. I like seeing where this is going.
Yeah, this is great. I'm loving this 2 issues in. I think it's like a really well thought out event. I have high hopes for it. I just hope Ryan North, who's been doing a great job on the Fantastic Four book as well, has a big story in mind, because this is a 9
I hope he's got a good plan.
This is a 9-issue event, right? So I just want him to blow it all within the first few issues. But he's been very good in Fantastic Four about doing one and done kind of issues. So I think, like, I honestly think if he takes the same approach to the event, but kind of has a through line of a story here, then I think this is going to be a really good event. Honestly,
if I've read some of the solicitations for the further issues, and it looks like it's going into different places. So I'm excited for what's coming.
Yeah, it's great so far. Like you said, the Toronto thing was good. The Valeria stuff, he got the relationship down really perfectly, honestly, because that's something that actually Mark Millar, I think, first introduced when he was at Marvel back in the day with his Fantastic Four run. And then Hickman took over after that. And then Hickman kind of established that relationship between Dr. Doom and Valeria, even more so. So, like, to kind of see that is like the way that they're talking to each other, and the way they kind of I've read all the stories with them building up this whole relationship with him being their godfather or whatever. And it's really great stuff. Like, I like how even amongst all this chaos, they have this relationship going on between the two of them, right? Because because of that fact, and because Valeria is the smartest one of the family, even more so than Reed, like, as opposed to Reed being always the smartest one, because they say that she's destined to be even greater than Reed as a result, right? Because she her Doom connection there. So it's good stuff. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, almost 4.25. Honestly, it was a really good issue. I'm interested to see where this goes. But as far as events goes, great start. Great start.
Yeah.
And then we have a series that ended here this week, and no sign of a sequel. I'm surprised. I thought he was going to bring it a little further here, but he didn't. He had some restraint, as far as we know here. This is the Deviant number 9. What'd you think of this, Chris?
There could be a sign of a sequel because, well, anyways, we could talk about that as it goes through, but I guess the whole mystery is solved. And this was the last issue. I wasn't sure that this would be the last issue. I thought they'd try and finish this around Christmas or something. So I thought this would be going for another few months. But you figure out what's what, and they do spend a lot of time telling you how things happened. Because it was a bit of a kind of a story or a bolt out of the blue as to who the actual killer is. I guess throughout the whole series, you either thought that the writer was the killer, and then once he was in jail, there was some more murders going on, and then the boyfriend was being framed for the murders, and you almost thought he was going to take a fall here, and then this was going to continue on. But once again, I guess in the classic horror movie, once sort of everything's been revealed, he's about to stab the boyfriend, and the cop comes back from the final attack and shoots him, and then you figure out who's who and what's what. And it turns out that the killer was one of the prison guards that was working with I guess the original murderer, the original serial killer, and he kind of took it upon himself to be curious as to what it's like to kill people. It seems, and
Yeah, he wasn't really working with him so much as he was obsessed with him and his
yeah,
story, right?
yeah,
And
yeah, but he was kind of talking with them all the time, and it didn't seem like the original serial killer was like instructing him, but he might have been egging him on a little bit. Well, what can you do? He's
but
in jail.
but I
He's
mean,
got to be fun too.
but if we were to believe this story, then he's innocent, right? That guy. That was the whole
Yeah,
point of what they were trying to say about that guy who was in jail, is that he just liked playing this part, and he got put in jail mistakenly, and he was a pervert who kind of looked at younger boys, but he liked the attention while he was in prison because people would send him stuff like pictures and stuff like
yeah,
that, and the guard was giving them to him, which he wasn't supposed to be doing. And then through that whole process, he kind of became also obsessed and kind of turned on by all this shit, and then became this killer on this, like, outside of it. So it kind of, you're right, it does leave it up in the air whether or not, you want to believe he had nothing to do with it or not, right? But I thought, like, the way they ended it with that scene of him with the rewrapping of the president and everything,
yeah.
I really liked that, how the writer is sitting there at the end with them.
Well,
And
you never know. It could be that president. Maybe that the writer there, he could have some nefarious activities going on as well.
right.
And who knows? Maybe he's got something else. If he gives us a break from it for a while, if he does decide to, if he's got a story to tell about this, though, I'd be interested in reading it.
Yeah, I'm actually not as annoyed by the way they ended it, in the sense that I was like, I don't know how they're going to wrap it up in one more issue. And I feel like the last couple of issues were a little delayed here in this series. Like you said, probably the idea was to finish around Christmas, but it just didn't come out on time. And then also, like, I was like, oh, I don't like sometimes where the killer is somebody who kind of came out of nowhere, and
Yeah,
this kind of felt like that. But at the same time, like, you would have seen this character in scenes earlier in the comic, like, and I do like sometimes when you do figure out if it's somebody that we've been following, and he comes up with
yeah.
a clever
Well,
way
that's
of,
it. Like when they pull off his mask and you see the face, it's like, oh my god, it's this person. Like, who the hell is this?
right,
And then
right.
like, I don't know if you even go back into the earlier issues if you'd see this guy here or not. I imagine he's probably in there somewhere.
Right, but that's the thing. I actually think that despite all that, I thought it actually was a pretty good, like, the way they
Yeah,
explained it, I thought it was a pretty good job, I think, on his part. I don't always love it, but I think he did a good job with it, is what I was trying to say. Yeah, eh, yeah, I liked the ending. I thought he stuck the landing, honestly. I thought this
yeah,
was a good series, and if this is all it is, I'm fine with that, because I was afraid that this was going to be more. Maybe it could be more, but I don't know. I'm perfectly fine if this is the story, and I'll definitely pick up the collection of this one. I liked it. So another good James Tynion book. I would suggest, if you like his other stuff, this is definitely worth his creator-owned stuff, especially. This is worth checking out. But yeah, this ending with him visiting the guy in the jail cell, and he explains how all this kind of developed, was really good. And then you kind of see them there, and he's like, yeah, sorry, I know all this happened around Christmas. I unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to come here and give you this gift, so here you go. And he kind of just sits there, and he's like, oh, look at this shitty wrapping. And I'm sorry, they kind of opened it when I was going through the security there. And he just, like, sits there and rewraps it, and he's like, do you mind if I just keep it wrapped, because I haven't had a gift in, like, forever, and
yeah.
I just wanted.
That's what I think could be the beginning of their next series is when he opens up that present, and what's in there could
So,
be something that starts a new series.
so the other thing I was wondering was, am I forgetting about, was there ever some sort of tell with the wrapping during the story about it? Because I couldn't remember if that was a thing that was said at some point, because this scene could have also represented that this is a clue that he was the killer, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know. But it is interesting The wrapping paper, if you notice, is the lights. Like it's
Yeah,
trapped around all the people.
lights.
Right. So, but I did like the ending, even if you don't read into it like we kind of did, and like where maybe they're trying to hint at something else. I think it's a perfectly good ending as well, the way they ended it. Like I like it. So good stuff. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 4, and I give the whole series a 4. I thought it was enjoyable.
Same. Yeah, absolutely. Four as well for both. All right. I got a couple here I've read this week. We got Those Not Afraid #3, which I know Chris just missed this week, checking out before the show. And then it said at the end of this issue that the next issue is the last issue. Now, I don't know if Kyle Starks is going to do a thing where he's going to just do like a couple of different miniseries like he does with that other series that he does, the Where Monsters Lie or whatever. But I got to tell you, at the end of this issue, I was like, I don't know. I could have used another issue or two with this. This was actually one of those rare occurrences where instead of something going on too long, I was like, it's done next issue. Like that seems like I kind of felt less for this like enjoyment of this series now as a result of them saying that. But we'll see. I don't know if I was going to tie it up at the end of the next issue or if it's just going to be a continuation. But at the end of last issue, they showed that both of the killers had been caught. It seemed like the one guy got caught in the parking lot with a bunch of paraphernalia in his trunk that was going to basically he got brought in by the cops. And then you see the other killer, I forgot their names. Basically, he's going in for a kill, and the cops are already in the house that he went into. So like somebody got the drop on both of these guys. And then in this one, it just starts out with him getting caught in the house. This guy just fights them. Like it's crazy. This guy just like takes out like a SWAT team, just like kicks the shit out of them, works his way out of this situation somehow. Shoots shoots and injures a bunch of them and flees, and he gets away. Then it kind of and then it cuts to, which that was just surprising. Honestly, I didn't know that he was going to be able to pull that off, but I guess he's a good fighter as well, this dude. And then it cuts to the other guy getting interrogated. And, they have apparently, they caught him with his pants down there with all his paraphernalia in the trunk. But other than that, they have no other reason to bring him in or suspicion or evidence of this guy being the killer. And then I guess what ends up happening is he speaks to that girl that he's dating, the true crime podcaster person, whose her friend is his wife, and she tells him what ended up happening, and they took him in for questioning. So this guy, because they're in this whole contest with one another, took it upon himself to go kill somebody in his name. So they since they have him in jail, in prison, they're like, oh, it can't be this guy. He's here with us, and this guy just killed again. So I guess it isn't him. And then this guy's lawyer gets him off anyways, and apparently like he knows some people or whatever in the police department. He gets off scot-free as well. So, but then when this was all going on, the wife actually puts together the fact that he is probably the killer. Like she sees like all these murders happen, and she looks at his calendar whenever he's out of town, like these murders happen. So she puts 2 and 2 together at home. So by the time he gets home, she confronts him about this, and then she basically just ends it. She just ends it right there. She's like, I'm leaving you. And she makes a break for it and gets away. So, this guy's just distraught at the end. He actually seems really upset, maybe by the fact that she knows that he's the killer or that she's also leaving him. But he's just pissed off at the end there. And what ends up happening is at the end of this issue, I guess the stinger that they left you with at the end, because every issue has kind of left you with something to look forward to on the next one. As you hear on the news, the police report, like they're talking about everything that's happened with these murders lately on the news. There's a TV in the background. You hear that, oh, these two that have been apparently going, kill for kill or whatever, that are trying to their record is getting up high. They're about to surpass the record that was set by some other serial killer in the past. And then you see this big juice bag hulking guy sitting on the side of the bed that's overhearing this on the TV. And apparently it's like his mother that was the killer that held the record previously, then apparently now is dead. And he's like, well, we'll see about that. And now there's going to be another killer. like in the mix now, it seems like, taking it upon himself to continue his mother's legacy. So, and this guy's huge, so I don't know what the hell is gonna happen. There's no way that this is gonna only be 4 issues and that's it. I honestly doubt that. Like, I don't. I think he's gonna do like a Where Monsters Lie type of deal here, like, because those are 4 issue minis too. I'll say that about Kyle Starks. He always leaves you wanting more. I thought it was a good issue, but I was also disappointed at the end, where I'm just like, what the hell is going to happen now with one more issue? I'm like, I need more of this story. Like, I thought this was going to be like just a mini series of like 6 issues or something, not like like the same deal. But yeah, I guess maybe that's what they're going for. Or if it wraps up in one more issue, I might be slightly disappointed. We'll see, but I'll give this a 3.75 out of 5, though. I like this. So definitely check it out, Chris, before the next one. Yeah, it's still good stuff. Next up, I got DC Sonic the Hedgehog #1. Got that cover there, and there's the other one. Yeah, so
like a couple of covers.
Yeah, I got the cardstock variant. Come on now. So Christine, she buys like the Sonic ongoing series. She likes the Sonic comics, and I'm a fan of Sonic as well. But since this was a Sonic DC crossover, I was like, oh, you know what? She picked this up anyway, so I'll read the first issue for the show. Listen, it was okay. This is written by the writer who's currently writing like the Sonic series for IDW as well, that Christine reads. So it's a writer who's familiar with Sonic. But I don't know. It was written. This is definitely, I think, for a younger crowd still. Like, it's more of like an all age comics, and like some of the versions of the Justice League characters he's writing in this don't ring true. So even though this guy's the writer for Sonic, and I'm sure he's got a good handle on those characters, I don't know how good of a handle he had on the DC characters. But listen, it was an okay comic. I'll say that. The art was sometimes inconsistent as well, I felt throughout it. I don't know if I have the art here for you guys to show off, but anyways, that being said, it was okay, but I'd only give this like a 3 out of 5. I don't know if I'll be continuing to read this one, but like I said, if you're a fan of the Sonic comics, like I said, it's the same writer who writes that. Christine likes them a lot, so maybe it's definitely worth something checking out there. And then next up, we got Superman Last Days of Lex Luthor #2, a book that came out a year ago. I think the first issue came out. So delayed. I don't know if this is Brian Hitch or Mark Waid, or it's probably Brian Hitch, the artist, if I had to take a guess. But regardless, I swear this book came out like a year ago, if not maybe like 10 months ago or something. And I think it's only a 3-issue DC Black Label series. And if you guys forgot the setup of this one, it was basically that Luthor is dying, and Superman is taking it upon himself to try to help find a cure for whatever this cancer is or whatever is killing him. It's kind of like the opposite of All-Star Superman, where Superman is dying. Instead, it's Luthor is dying, and this guy is going, from one end of the earth to the other to check in with all like his friends that he's got. He goes to the future in this, goes to see the Legion of Superheroes, which that part was really interesting because he's like, well, obviously you guys are in the future. You know what would have happened to Luthor. I'm sure you have something, you figured out something that can be able to cure this disease that he's got. And they're kind of like, oh no, unfortunately those files have been lost to time and we don't know what would have happened to him. I'm sorry, we can't help you. And then he's like, but just let it be known, like the kind of guy tips him off from the Legion of Superman. This man is not your friend or whatever. And I don't know if you should be helping him. And he kind of just leaves him with that. And then like later on, like as Superman leaves with Lex Luthor, like one of the Legion characters, like talks to the other one. He's like, I can't believe you lied about that. It's like, and he's like, listen, we couldn't reveal certain things about this situation. And so they knew what was going to happen with them and everything else. So they tried to kind of clue him in, but they also said they couldn't interfere in that sense and actually have this guy survive because he's like, he's Lex Luthor, right? So it was just funny, that scene. I really actually enjoyed that a lot. I thought the Brian Hitch art looked good for something that took him a year to draw. So I'm good. It's good there, at least. It wasn't rushed, that's for sure. And I really like this issue. It was really good, actually. And I will say, for being gone that long, since the first issue was just the setup of that idea for this series, that's all you had to remember jumping back into this. And this issue was basically him on the search for a cure. And you got to see him go to visit like magic characters and this character, people in space, like different species of people and the DC universe and Green Lanterns, and just no one can come up with a cure for this guy. So by the end of it, like he feels like somewhat responsible for something that happened between him and his past back in Smallville. And he reveals to Luthor in this issue that he's Clark Kent, which, you know, it blows him away. He can't believe that he's Clark Kent after he puts the glasses on. He's like, all this time, and I have you to blame for all this shit back in the day and everything else. So this is why Superman's going out of his way, because some sort of thing happened back in the day, back in Smallville, where he feels like he sent Luthor on the path that basically brought him to this point, and that he could have done so much with his intellect to actually help the world. Instead, he's kind of, you know, become his, you know, arch nemesis here. So it was a really good issue and a good story, man. I wish I could hate on this because I'm like, this took a year to come out, but I didn't buy the issue after the first one took so long. But I'm definitely going to pick up the collection. This was really good. Really good. I have really liked this issue. I was like, okay, Mark Waid, I'm like, this is you're really, you know, taking the page length to heart here with these DC Black labels. And I think this is a well worthwhile Superman story. Honestly, definitely check this out. If not in issues, just in collected edition, because I don't know when the third issue is going to come out. I think that's the last issue. It might come out a year from now, for all I know. Good stuff, though. I really enjoyed this one, and it kind of left on the, this is where he's kind of going around seeing everybody, see if anybody can help him. Kind of left on a note where it looks like Brainiac set a trap for him, essentially, and you know, he thinks Luthor is responsible, and kind of Brainiac comes from the shadows and says like, no, I'm kind of the one that set this all in motion. So he may have even made Luthor sick, for all we know. Oh, here's the Sonic art here. I mixed it up with another file. So here, I'll show off some of the Sonic art here for you guys very quickly. But I give this a 4.25 out of 5. Superman Last Days of Lex Luthor #2. It was good stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really good. I said, I wanted to give it less, but I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, this was a really, really solid issue. And it's not like I need to remember anything else except for this basic setup of the first one. Like, it was, you know, even being away that long, I was like, you guys did a good job. Yeah, they're kind of pairing each of the characters up with like their Sonic counterpart in this, right? Like Batman is the Shadow. Shadow is the Batman character. Sonic is the Flash character because of his speed. You know, basic stuff. But anyways, that's that. And then I got Batman Superman World's Finest 37. Not too much to say about this. Basically, this is the wrap up of this story with Swamp Thing, and like, sorry, the red and versus the green in the middle of the ocean, and everything to do with the Justice Superman being involved, and you know, them manipulating the feelings of the people in the water and making them kiss this guy's woman here. And there's like a big misunderstanding, Arion or whatever his name is from Aquaman's world. And basically they just kind of wrap up the storyline in this issue and, you know, save the day and move on. Essentially, this is the end of, I think, a 3 or 4 issue arc that they've had, which I thought has been quite good. But in this one, it was like, you could just tell it was time to wrap it up. And there was not too much to add to the storyline here, other than like Aquaman and his relationship with being the king of Atlantis here, how that's kind of, you know, changed in his relationship with his other people that he knows. And, you know, Superman had hashed things out with that guy that, you know, kissed his woman there because, you know, that it wasn't purposeful. He was being, you know, their feelings were being kind of messed with and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's about it. I mean, I give this a 3.5 out of 5. It was good, but I did like the rest of the arc more so than this final issue. This was just kind of like, you know, I would say phoned in, but it just, you know, you know, he had this wrap up in his back pocket. That's the thing with these stories. Some of them don't hold as much weight because they're just on to the next thing, right? So it's just like, okay, yeah, time to wrap this one up. Now let's get ready for the next one. So I get, 3.5 out of 5. All right, Chris. Detective 1095.
Let's see. I got a variant cover for this. That was pretty sick.
Oh, me too. You got this one, the Bruno Redondo one?
No.
Oh, I got this one, which I really liked.
Let's see this one.
Let me see. Oh, nice. That one is sick. Nice. Yeah, I like that one. Very cool.
I forgot who did it, but But as for the comic itself, it seems like big things are going on in this Detective Comics.
Yeah.
Once again, they're freaking beating some old story to death, adding all this like this stuff with Joe Chill. Freaking not for ready, okay? I know he killed him, but there are some, it does kind of work its way into the story. And then it turns out that that girl that sort of Bruce Wayne has been seeing, the secretary from the that blood plasm place, she is Joe Chill's daughter. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Unbeknownst to him, yes.
Yeah, unbeknownst to anybody, of course. What are the coincidences of something like that happening? But either way, there's some good lines in here, where I think someone's who's coming. Like I don't know who that lady was that was kind of hanging around with Batman here.
Oh, Leslie Tompkins or Thompson or whatever. The doctor that's friends with them. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then she's kind of just, almost like his conscience there.
Yeah.
And, she's talking about Joe Chill, what he's going to do to him. He's a concern that, maybe this wasn't just a random sort of act of violence when his parents got killed. And then I think when he's walking away, he goes, oh, I know where, like, how are you going to find Joe Chill? He goes, I know exactly where he is all the time. Every time I know his email. You can kind of see that he's still obsessed with, the whereabouts of this Joe Chill, making sure everything's going on. And then when he does find Joe Chill, basically this guy had no idea of what's going on. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who did my surgery. I didn't kind of target your parents. And that sort of seems to satisfy Batman. But he does have to control his rage, but he does get a few pops in there just to straighten him out. And then there's that scene with Superman showing up when Batman's in his Batcave, and they got all the alarms going off. And, you're wondering what's going on. He's I'll just let my security take care of it. And, there's someone standing at the plate, and the weight just starts kind of increasing exponentially. And you think he's gonna, you think he's gonna have to react, and then he just shuts it all down. And then it shows up that it's Superman there, and I guess he sort of helps out in the story here. And then it looks like Batman almost turns himself in that he was taking this whatever this
he
story there, or the serum to make himself younger.
Yeah,
once he found out how it was taken.
Yeah, he turns Bruce Wayne in for taking it. Yeah, like his persona as Bruce Wayne, he reveals is one of the guys that's been taking this shit, and then he kind of pulls a move where he's literally on top of her company's building as Bruce on the phone saying like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, how
come just kind of finding out what Joe Chill's daughter knows, or I guess she has no idea who her father is and all that sort of stuff.
And then he swings in as Batman 2 seconds later as he's like,
yeah, I think they were almost thinking that this woman here was going to be that what's that, Asima or whatever her name is, a Thema character or villain, and I guess she's revealed that it's not her. And then she's always concerned there when she's like, you got to get out of here. They're always listening or someone's watching, and then I guess there's a bigger villain afoot. So we'll see where it goes. Oh, yeah. And that person ends up killed. It looks like they killed Joe Chill, yes. Which I imagine. I thought that would be part of the bigger story for some other reason. It just seems like a lot of big things are happening in this Detective Comics that seem to be sort of overlooked or flying under the radar.
Yeah, like I said before already, the last couple of issues. This is probably my favorite Batman. This is my favorite Batman book coming out right now currently. So, yeah, another good issue. Like you said, they got a lot of balls up in the air, a lot of things going on that I'm really enjoying in this story. Even though they're kind of going back to the well with some of the Joe Chill stuff at this point in the story, they're at least kind of introducing some new things to the.
Yeah, but at least they didn't say that everything, that this was some sort of master plan that was going on back in the day. It was just all random events.
Yeah, it's good stuff, good art. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. Another good issue, honestly. I don't have too much more to add other than what you said, but yeah, good stuff. What'd you give this?
Yeah, I dropped a 4 for this one. I like the story.
Same. Yep. All right, next we got Avengers 24.
Oof. Avengers 24, I guess a little follow-up from the Grand Heist. I didn't really care too much for that, but nonetheless, I thought it was a good issue. I guess Black Cat sort of had the rug pulled over her eyes there by Kang a little bit, maybe by the promise of doing one last job with her father. There's some nice scenes there between Black Cat and her father. They have a few minutes before I guess she has to kind of leave her timeline once everything's all said and done. And then you have the big players there was the Grandmaster and Meridian. I don't really care for these two people, or at least that Meridian. Oh, that guy's baloney. But in the end, where the story ends up, the Avengers end up back on the Impossible City. They got to find out what's going on, and One World Under Doom, enter the Avengers. So they're in play now, or at least this comic's back in play. So I look forward to reading some of that stuff. But I thought the art was great. I love having Black Cat in the story, and I thought like you say, Jed MacKay has a good feel for Black Cat, let's say, and it seems that he likes writing her. So I'm always happy when he's got anything to do with her.
Yeah, absolutely. This was like a nice aside to like the big arcs that we've been having in Avengers lately and the storylines that have been going on. This was like a nice kind of like, a couple of issues prior to the event that they're going to be thrown into now. Nice little side story. I don't know if is the plan. Do you remember from solicits? Is Black Cat going to be sticking around now or like?
Doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
Like, I haven't seen her in any of the future solicitations.
Right. So yeah, this was good. Again, a little bit of like, you could tell this was a wrap up issue. Like, just like I said about Batman, Superman, World's Finest. This wasn't, it wasn't that it was bad. It's just like, you could just tell like, they're just quickly trying to like wrap everything up because they're going to be, going right into the event now. So that being said, overall, I kind of really liked this story. Like I said,
yeah, this didn't need to be stretched out to be a 6-issue arc. I thought it was a perfect, just the one issue Black Cat comes in, and second issue, a little continuation. That's fine. I liked it.
Yep. What'd you give this?
Let's give it 3.75.
I'll go 3.5 out of 5 on this one. Overall, though, I really liked this arc. I'd give it like a 3.75, the arc or whatever. Good. Nice to see him writing Black Cat again.
Yeah.
And then we got Deadpool Wolverine is this number 5? Is it the wrong number? It must be. This must be like 3 or something. Yeah, 3. Oh,
yeah,
number 3. What'd you think of this?
Well, they runs with some crazy ideas there. I guess Wolverine's got Deadpool all tied up, and Deadpool's been sort of under the influence of something. And the only way Deadpool or Wolverine can get him back under the influence is to really beat the crap out of him. And he's not sure that it's going to work, but it does seem to work. And I guess Wolverine gets some of his answers. I like the stuff with Maverick sort of back in action. I think they have he's back. I guess after some sort of explosion, he kind of crawls out of the rubble and tries to find out what's going on. So it looks like they might be all on the same side here. I always like seeing Maverick, Wolverine. I guess now Deadpool, he seems to be part of the crew there. But I also like that old Weapon X or the Weapon X crew when it's Maverick, Sabretooth, and Wolverine, and whoever else they had on the team when they kind of do some sort of their backstory. I don't mind that. So it's not too bad.
Man, this series is growing on me. I really love this series, actually. And honestly, this is Ben Percy's sweet spot, is when he kind of mixes somewhat of a very simple story, like action flick type story with a kick-ass artist that he has with Joshua Cassara in this. These fight scenes alone, these bloody kind of throwdown moments with him and Deadpool and kind of just seeing the banter between the two, I think is enough for the price of admission on this one if you bought this. I didn't buy into this, but I think I'll pick up the paperback because I actually really like this series. I think it's just like, it is a kind of a wacky story. And it's, I don't know where it's going or if it's that great, honestly, overall. But I do like you said, the players involved, the art's really good. And I think this is where he excels, Benjamin Percy, where he has like this sort of like action kind of orient, like, put the action first and the story second, because that's kind of what we're getting in this.
Pretty much that's what it is. Yeah. Like the main story, I have really no idea what's going on, but just the way he's got to get to his story with Wolverine having to beat the crap out of him or vice versa with Deadpool having to, beat the crap out of Wolverine. And, they just go at it like crazy. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, by the end of this issue, there's zombies now. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's about. Like some zombie dinosaur.
But, it looks great. It's got Deadpool, It's got Wolverine, it's got Maverick, it's got Strife. It's a fun book. I've actually liked this series with each issue more and more. Honestly, I actually really like this one. So yeah, it's crazy. And like apparently he's saying like they were, they're on this whole collision course all along, this whole shit, like predestined stuff. Like you said, I'm not really following what's going on with the story, but it's a fun time. I'll give it up to Percy. I've learned this is where he excels, when it's kind of shit like this, where I think it's when he tries to be a better writer than he is, where he fails, honestly. Like, because like remember like the best parts of like X-Force or Wolverine or whatever when he was writing those books were always like those things where it's like the Wolverine team up tour. Remember, like every issue he's teaming up with somebody, and like all that stuff was fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like that when Percy does that kind of stuff, when he's doing like the recycled action movie ideas that we Point Break, like Wolverine.
That was a bad one though. That Point Break. That broke me. I didn't buy Wolverine for like a year after that comic.
That's why I dropped it too. No, I remember that was a high point of how bad that run was, and then it got good in the second half. So, I don't know, or enjoyable anyways. I won't say it's like the best thing out, but yeah, good stuff. What'd you give this?
I give it 3.75.
I gotta go 4 on this one. I'm loving this. Good stuff. Then I got a couple of books here I read. The Question All Along the Watchtower, number 5. One more issue to go for this one. This has been solid. I've liked this. And in this issue, now that she kind of discovered what had happened and, what's that Superman's name? The cyborg Superman there. And Eradicator or whatever. That's the other guy's name, right? Or Vindicator, I think is the other Superman, right? Clone, whatever. So anyways, now she's learned like what happened with them getting out of the Phantom Zone there and taking over the Watchtower. She kind of, now there's like a bunch of Justice Leaguer, like the C-list guys, like Animal Man and the Blue Beetles, and these people that were left on the Watchtower, not on a mission currently. She has to systematically take them out in this issue. So this is kind of like, because they're all being controlled somewhat after she's kind of taking care of Cyborg Superman, the last one. In this one, he's kind of in the background, like manipulating the rest of the team. And she has to figure out ways to take all these guys down. So I like this a lot. And of course, the last person that she ends up having to take out in this is Cassandra Cain, Batwoman, who she had a relationship with. So it's the hardest person for her to actually go up against here, because she actually had feelings for her once upon a time. And I actually think, and actually she still does. And I really liked this issue. I thought it was good. I think the whole series has been pretty enjoyable. Like always, I'll give this like a 3.75 out of 5, but it's verging on a 4. I think overall, this is a collection I might pick up, and I really enjoyed this one. And by the end of this, you get to see the other questions show up. Not this version of the question, the original question. He shows up to assist at the end of this issue, which is also really cool. So good stuff. I liked this, and definitely going to probably check out the collection. 3.75 out of 5. And I'm sure I'll feel that way by the conclusion, because we got one more issue to go. Overall, this has been a solid mini series, and the only one I think worthwhile out of all those spin-off ones that they've been doing out of this all in so far, at least for me. Like this is the main one I've really, really enjoyed. Next up, you got Batman and Robin Year One, number 6. Got this Wes Craig cover here variant, which is really cool. Really like that one. Again, not the best Bat book out, but probably one of the best probably the best looking Bat book out. Chris Samnee on art. You got him and Mark Waid here, and good stuff. It's a classic Batman story. Nothing wrong with it, but also nothing, too outside of the box or new that this series has been offering either. It's just kind of fun to see these two guys that are, at the top of their game, kind of busting out a Batman series. And, Chris Samnee, somebody who really hasn't done any DC work, who's worked with Waid a lot over at Marvel and on other things, Kirkman on Firepower over at Image. It was nice to see him finally do a Bat book, because this guy, if you follow him on his Instagram there, he posts Batman sketches all the time and just had never drawn these characters like professionally. So it's been a treat to see him draw the book. But otherwise, I think it's a decent book. Nothing wrong with it. Look forward to the collection. I'll give this a 3.75 out of 5. And like I said, if you're a fan of Chris Samnee's art, it's worth the price of admission at the very least. And then you got Psylocke number 6. Really awesome cover. I think this is Ben Harvey. It's a thick Psylocke on this with 2 C's. Thick. Like that one. So this was like the variant I picked up for this issue. I think this is the last issue I've pre-ordered of this. I think, 6 issues in, because they've revealed their hand here that this is an ongoing series and not a mini series like so many of these other books have been with the female characters of the X-Men that they've been doing. I think I'm out after this one, even if they do get some sick ass covers. It'll take a lot to get me to pick up another cover at this point. I think I've got a few good ones from this run already, but listen, the story isn't bad though. I would probably put this somewhere in the middle of all these miniseries of the Women X characters that they've launched. I think there's an interesting new bad guy that's shown up in this story. She basically has to fight him in this issue after kind of being held captive, like almost like a butterfly pinned to the wall here at the end of the last one. And she has to work her way out of this situation. There's some good stuff with, his past as a new villain, learning about him and as well as her. And I liked this issue. This is actually probably one of the stronger issues. I just think overall I'm out because it hasn't captured me enough these first 6 issues to continue with it. But otherwise, I am probably leaving at a high point for this series so far. I thought this was decent. I'd even probably give this a 3.75 out of 5. Again, it was a good issue. And if you're a big Psylocke fan, this might even get better. I don't know. I might even read it digitally, but I'm not picking up the issues. It'll take a lot, a really sick cover to get me to kind of pick up another one, I feel, just because I got to make some cuts. So anyways, 3.75 out of 5. And then finally, Zatanna number 2 got another really cool cover here. Terry Dodson, old school, like magician looking cover. And once again, love these characters and love these covers, but the comic is not delivering. And in this issue, you get some of her Justice League Dark friends trying to help out now after the setup of the first issue and everything that's going on. But, this is a very convoluted plot so far. Honestly, it turns out one of the people that was working as part of her team there with these magicians is actually working against her with some person that's, a villain of hers or someone that wants to take her down. And you learn that in this issue. And you kind of see, some of their other members of the Justice League Dark try to help her out in this one. But it's just not a story I feel that I'm too invested in or too interested in. And even the art, I felt like, while, Jamal Campbell did a good job, is a great artist. I don't know. This issue, it looked good, but not enough to keep me around. It didn't blow me away, I'll say. I've seen him do better work, I feel like, on Superman, quite frankly. So yeah, I think I'm done with this issue. I think I might have the next one pre-ordered, and that's it. Once again, because of a cover. I think the Ji Young Lee variant is the next one. But I think after that, I think this is only a 6-issue miniseries. I think I'm out after issue 3. So yeah, not bad. Bruce Wayne shows up at the end, but it's like I don't know, she goes inside of like an old school like TV show or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I don't know if it's like actually Bruce Wayne breaking through to kind of reach her. It would make sense because of their relationship and the fact that she's helped him like kind of learn magic or some sort of magic in that sense that works for him. But, or to learn how to kind of, work with it. I don't know if that's actually him or not at the end, but it seems to be Bruce. But, we'll see what happens from here on out. I'll give this a 3.25 because, it did look good. I'm just not invested in the story. All right, Chris, Bug Wars number 2.
Yeah, I've just been reading this one online, and I guess it follows up the Bug Wars number 1. And our hero's sort of powered up, and I think he's just pounding on some of these other, I don't even know what you call these people, these other bug people. And I guess he gets introduced, to sort of the different tribes or cliques of the bug people down there. And for whatever reason, I don't know if I missed it, but that's some sort of amulet he has loses its power, and then he kind of goes big for a second, and then goes back small. And when he comes back small again, he's sort of captured, and they take him to, was it the Blood Hole or something? It's almost like the Mad Max Thunderdome, where there's gonna sacrifice them.
That's a good
There's
comparison.
some big piece going on, and then what's going to eat them all. It's basically mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So like kind of the way he plays with, the backyard being this world. It's kind of fun there. I guess they have the spiders and like the dung beetles and kind of everybody's who's who. And I think at the end of the comic, he has almost a little bit of a write up about each of the groups that are there. And then they all seem to be going up against or, uniting to fight his his brother who cuts the grass.
Yes.
You know, they almost have like some effigy of his brother with the lawnmower.
Yeah.
So I think it's good stuff. You know, I'll continue reading this, but it's kind of losing a bit of its shine from the first issue, I felt.
Yeah, I agree. I think the first issue was better, but it's still a fun world. And, you know, Mahmoud Asrar is a good artist. I think he's doing a great job on this. I'm always interested to see what Jason Aaron kind of comes up with. It's creative enough and it's fun so far. But yeah, I agree with you. It lost a little bit of its luster. Then again, this is only a 6-issue miniseries, so I'm definitely going to stick around, I think, for the remainder of this to see how it plays out. I don't know though. You know, this Spider Woman, I'm not gonna lie, kind of, you know, pretty good looking Spider Woman that she's I don't know why. It's got me feeling all funny there, Chris. Let me look at her there. I don't know. She's got that flame sword. She's got, you know, she's bending in weird positions. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, she's befriending our young hero.
Yeah, that's very true. This could get X-rated very fast. I don't know what's gonna happen in issue 3. But no, this was good. I enjoyed it. It's fun. What'd you give this out of 5?
I got 3.75.
Same. Next up, Sacrificers 15, Chris.
Yeah, I think I might have moved to this just online, or maybe I put it on my freaking order, but everything got all messed up. But either way, it's still a good read. You know, this was the fire god or the sun. I guess they seemed to focus on him this issue, and he seemed to have to remind the world of who he is and what he is. The only thing is, I read this after reading Bug Wars, and you almost get a little mixed up in there because you know these are that same sort of idea, except it's not someone's backyard. I kind of kept on thinking that, you know, this was just like a microcosm of a bigger world, but this is the big world here. And just seeing, what's his name, Rokos or something, just go to town and, you know, and then his inner monologue, you know, how he's, you know, he's trying to help people, and, you know, he's trying to do his best and trying to be nice. And this is how they repay him. And he just goes to town. And it was fun to read. The only thing I didn't like, they said this was like part 4 of 4, I guess, arc within the story, but it didn't seem like anything got resolved at the end of this.
No,
you know, he just freaking blew up. I guess the town or the place where they do the sacrificing. It seems because he goes there and he has his loyal servants. He thinks they're betraying him, and then you know one girl's that lady there, the queen. She's trying to convince him that she's not, and he just puts his hand right through her. And then they open the door to this paradise where they take all the kids, and everybody's dead there.
yeah.
So he thinks they're pulling a fast one on him.
Yeah.
And he just goes to town. Then I think at the end, isn't it the end with our blue pigeon coming in and just confronting him?
Yeah.
And it seems like we'll see what this blue pigeon power's got.
Yeah, everything's lined up now. Like I think, like honestly, I would not be surprised if the next arc is the last arc of the series because everything's aligned up. Everybody's ready to go. We know who the players are, who the bad guys are, who the good guys are, or you know, even the good guys have some moral kind of issues. Let's say with what's happened so far. But yeah, it's go time. Honestly, at this point, like everybody's ready to. Like now it seems like he's finally going to go fight these gods, you know, and hit
like he's kind of taking out the lesser god, and now he's going for the top dog.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited for what happens next. I still really love this series, and yeah, I'm ready for it. Yeah, I'm just, you know, he shows up at the end here. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm sure at this point it might be a couple of months till we get the next issue because this usually they take the break in between arcs usually for the artists. But I'm looking forward to it when it does get here. So what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 4. I've been enjoying this whole series, and you know, even though our friend the pigeon hadn't been featured in this one, but seeing that Rokos guy's kick ass wasn't too bad.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. 4 out of 5. It was, and the art as always is really good as well. It was a good. Yeah, I think it's always really good. This series when an issue comes out. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the finale if this is what's going to happen now. I just hope they don't draw it out longer than it has to be. Although maybe there's stories still to be told in this world after the fact, but this final showdown has to happen in this next arc, honestly. Like, I just hope they don't, like, he doesn't go into it and he's like, let's tell a backstory of someone. You know what I mean? Like, oh, no. Like,
well, you're exiled and he's got to do another 10 trials to make his way back to confront them again or something,
Yeah, I'm sure he's got to do something to kind of extend, like, maybe the 4 or 5 issue arc or whatever it is, but not to the point where we don't get any action. We need that action now. Like, we're getting that to that point, right? So, all right, next up, G.I. Joe number 5 with the Ryan Sook variant here.
Yeah, I think that's the one he wanted. Freaking whatever. He's got the A cover. Brutal. Well, what's not brutal is this comic, though.
Yeah.
I think when we last left our ragtag group there, they seemed to be at the end of their rope. And Duke, he seemed to be optimistic for what reason we don't know, but I guess we find out here. But either way, freaking, they're all prisoners there, and Destro shows up, and they want to sort of beat some information out of him, and he tries beating up Duke. And Duke seems to think he's got the upper hand because he has some information that Destro doesn't know of. And then they threaten the Baroness to kind of torture her, to beat her up, to get the information out of Duke. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, everything, Clutch shows up into the Hiss tank and he starts blowing them all away. And then they take cover, and then the freaking, they kind of regroup and they have their little, their hands in, for rock and roll. And they freaking just go out there and kick ass, with no guns, no weapons. They're just whooping everybody. And, somehow somebody gets a hold of a gun. They're blasting things away. And then you got the side story with Cobra Commander and the guy with the brainwave scan and what they plan on doing with him. All great stuff all around, like the surprise with Clutch was good. The action, like even the art style for this, I have no complaints.
Yeah, I felt the same way that I felt about Absolute Batman with this book this week. I needed a really good issue like this. It's been building up. They've been getting their ass kicked for, I don't know, the last couple of issues now. And this was the issue we needed with this full out action issue, with them finally getting the upper hand in some regard in this story, and really solidifying for me this arc and the book moving forward, because I wasn't too sure, how much I was digging this story so far, but like Absolute Batman this week, I felt the exact same way about this book, where I'm just like, yeah, this is a really kick-ass issue, and great art and action. Yeah, good stuff. I agree with you, everything you said.
And then the way they leave it there, boom.
Yeah.
The first confrontation between, Duke and Cobra Commander, and basically he's like, who the hell are you? He has no idea,
right?
What he's been fighting, and now he kind of faces it. So it leaves you on, an up note.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the whole time, it's been Destro, right? And
they've been fighting Mars, or they don't, they haven't been able to get any intel on what's been going on here.
Right. Yeah, good stuff. I agree. Great issue. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 4. Could be a 4.25.
Yeah, I'll probably go 4 out of 5. Yeah, good stuff though. I'm really happy that I don't know if it's 5th issue or 6th issue that ends this arc, but this was a pretty good spot to leave it at, honestly. I thought. Yeah. Next up, we got Magic number 3. I also got the Jenny Frizen variant, but I've already packed it up, so I can't show that one off. That one's really nice though, the one I got. The other one, this one's all right. But
yeah, I don't mind getting Scott Campbell, because I don't think I got the first one. The second one was a Villalobos, and so I got this one here. So I don't mind this cover. It's not a bad cover.
No.
And pretty much that's all we can talk about here, I think. Cover's great.
Pretty much. Yeah, this is just
the story here.
Boring.
Well, she gets trapped in some other demon's domain. They fight for a while, and this demon, oh, I love you, and I've been trapped. And you get a bit of a origin story of whoever the master of that domain is, and she cuts a deal with them. Yeah, and that's it. And who cares? With the 7 seals, 3 seals are broken. She comes out and meets her friend. They go, oh, what are you doing? Who cares?
I don't know how you take such an interesting character and fucking make it boring like that. That's all I gotta say, because that's what this is. This has been like a snooze fest, honestly. And Yeah, it's just not clicking for me either. And I don't know. I think I still have other covers ordered. They've been doing great covers, but the story itself, yeah, I think this has been confirmed to be. I think this is just a 6-issue miniseries, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't seek this out if you didn't pick it up initially, or if you really like some of the covers. They have been doing some great covers for this series, but I think every issue has had at least one good cover. So I mean, it's worth checking out in that sense. But don't pick up the collection or anything like that. No, I love this character. This is not doing it for me.
Yeah, this isn't doing anything to further this character, or you're learning any new insights. He's on just some baloney adventure.
Yeah, there's a guy that looks like Sandman. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, oh yeah, and then Danny Moonstar shows up at the end, which is kind of cool because of their history, but not enough to be like, oh, yeah, this series is great. What'd you give this?
3.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. All right, and then finally we got the X-Manhunt here, crossover issues. We got Exceptional X-Men number 7. Which is, I think, 7 of 9, if I'm not mistaken, this issue.
I don't know if this was actually part of it, because when I was looking through their little map they have, like one is just collateral damage. It didn't actually have a part number to it, I think. This is the MIX one, right? Or the Exceptional X-Men?
Yeah.
X-Force was parts, the last part, I think. I think after X-Force, it's the Omega.
No, actually, it's X-Force first, it says, part 6 of 7. No, it is last. Okay, sorry. I brought the art up for this first. 1 second. There we go. Okay, yeah. This is Exceptional X-Men, which is
part of the Manhunt, but I don't think if you didn't have to read one, this was the one you wouldn't have to read.
No, there's like literally the only thing about this issue is there's a mention of what's been going on. Like that's it. Yeah.
All this reminded me as well how they're wasting all these characters, and like big characters too. Like they have freaking Mr. Sinister show up. How can you have a bad comic with Mr. Sinister, freaking Emma Frost, and it's just still absolute garbage.
This is one of the ones that X-Force got canceled. Did this also get canceled?
Probably done too, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, there's not much left of this to go, but yeah, I agree. This was like, I think the first issue that we tried out of this, I could see what they were going for. This is a little bit more slice of life, but the problem with this series is that you're doing a slice of life with the premise of what's already happening in Uncanny X-Men with them running a school for young new mutants.
Yeah.
And not only that, these are new characters. So it's hard to do this type of tone of a book and not have it be something that we haven't already seen or even.
Yeah. And these are they're the main focus of this book. It's not like this is some side story and, whatever, Emma Frost has got something going on. Nothing.
Yeah. And then like you said, this was just like a lame excuse to rope it in with the other X books, which clearly didn't help it because I think both the books that we're talking about now have been canceled. So it's just
like if this Manhunt thing crossover was supposed to drum up interest, they missed the ball, because by the time this thing come out, they already were announced as canceled. So you're trying to drum up interest in a dead book.
But yeah, so this guy that seems to be grooming the one kid that's going to school with them, he like brings him to his house, and then he brings him to his fucking like lab and you're part of the
inner circle.
Starts talking about DNA, and he's like, wait a second, something's wrong here. I gotta get going. He's like, I'm Mr. Sinister. Just like, what?
And where's Mr. Sinister been the whole time? Like, wasn't he like one of the architects of the fall of Krakoa? He was such a big character. The sins of Sinister. He was fighting for Dominion, and now he's reduced to freaking tricking a little kid to come into his basement. What? Get out of here.
I know. He's like trying to be like, I know you're misunderstood. Why don't you come to my home?
Yeah. I have some DNA down here for you. Come on.
What'd you give this?
If I get Magic 3, this has got to be a 2.75.
I agree. I was going to say that. I mean, that whole plot was laughable. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like it doesn't regret me not buying any one of those issues after reading that.
No. And then you got X Force number 9 here, part 6 of 7. I thought it was 9 earlier. So it's 7 issues. And then the next issue is the last, like the end cap issue of this event.
Yeah.
Omega issue or whatever the fuck they call it. What'd you think of this, Chris? X Force?
Basically, the only reason I wanted to read this because I wanted to find out who's in that stupid egg. And you do find out here, but otherwise, like with this, if this is to showcase the X Force comic, I have no idea. Like, once again, I know they just wanted their kind of one and done issues where they, they find some of these fractures or whatever event that they have to go stop. Are they fighting Colossus in here?
I don't know. I don't think
What's
so.
going on with, if that is Colossus? What's going on with him? He can turn his arm into a spear now or something. But anyway,
yeah, I don't know what's happening. The problem is we were reading this book prior to now, so like I don't know.
Yeah, but either way, we should have an idea what's happening with Colossus. The last time there, he was being mind wiped by his brother or something, and
right.
Anyways, yeah, you find who's in the egg, and it's what's his name, Liliandra,
the Shi'ar.
The Shi'ar Empire, and I guess right away, I guess a man that's been in jail for a while, he gets busy right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I know who that girl with the sunglasses is. I think she's been part of things, and she's like, "Well, guys, okay, we got to take care of business here first before you take care of business." And and I think they take off to go into space. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they're going to lead into something. So
and then it says this is
then who cares what happens with X Force?
Yeah, it has one more issue to go, honestly. I think it's done at 10. So yeah, that's it after this. But
yeah, I didn't read the solicitations, but I imagine X Force beats whoever those people are.
So far, without reading the last issue of this event, the start was shit, the middle was decent, and the end looks like
and it's gone.
So far.
I think I did buy the Omega to see what's going on, but if I don't get it, well, let's see. Let's hope and pray.
What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3 because I was interested as what's in that stupid egg.
Same. Yep.
All right. Glad it wasn't a gobbledygook or something. From Survivor Series a million years ago.
So yeah, 3 out of 5. That does it for our books we wanted to talk about this week.
That's what we ended on. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. No Spidey at the end of this discussion today, unfortunately. All right, Chris, what are you reading next week?
Oh shit. Hold on.
I got a big week next week too. Of actually stuff I'm picking up, it looks like.
I gotta stop picking up so much stuff. Or I gotta start picking up better stuff and stop buying stuff just because it's
right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, okay, let's see. Is this March 26th?
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man 15, Amazing Spider-Man 70, Ultimate Wolverine 3. I don't think I'm getting Uncanny X-Men. I'll try and read Fantastic Four. The Wolverine Red Band, I think I'm getting that. The Revenge. Oh, fuck. The X-Men Hunt. Omega. One good thing about that Manhunt thing, at least it flowed smoothly and was done quickly.
Yes.
I can imagine if this was done over 9 months. Oof, that would have been super brutal. Rogue Savage Land 3. Let's see. Do we get any super covers for that?
Yeah, I got a couple of good ones for that.
They all look good there. What's that? J Scouts.
This one's the best one. Lucas Wernick. This one here. Oh, it's gonna show up as that one's really good. But
let's see. Maybe read the Thunderbolts. Reading the Weapon X-Men. I think. Oh, yeah, that might be it for Marvel. They got the Godzilla and Fantastic Four. The Puluminati. Who cares about that? Let's see what we got for DC. Batman 158 Hush.
Yeah.
Coming out Tuesday. Absolute Wonder Woman 6. I think Superman 24. Oh, and they did have that Martian Manhunter preview in all the DC comics. I don't know about that one. That one looks tough.
Yeah, we'll see.
Wonder Woman 19. I think there's Justice League out there. Probably read that. Maybe get to read Green Lantern 21. I got Harley Quinn. Oh, they got Best of the Best coming out too. Wow, there's a lot of stuff coming out. That's the right week. Yeah, there's Power Girl I might read. Well, probably not. I'm gonna try and read this Peacemaker Presents, see what that's all about. That
Oh,
looks
the
like it could be
Eagle
interesting.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to read that. Yeah.
See if we got anything from Image.
Gromit's the last issue.
Oh yeah, I was wondering what happened to that. That seemed to be off the radar for a while.
Got delayed in the last issue, it seemed like.
Yeah. That Void Rivals. I did catch up on the Void Rivals, so I figured out what was going on in the world there.
It's good. It's
It's
good.
not bad. Yeah, like
Yeah, it's you
shouldn't
know
have
what?
taken us 18 issues to, or 17 issues to get there, but
You know
it
what's
is
funny?
good.
I dropped it 2 issues ago, and then after reading last week, I ended up picking the issues back up. So now I'm back on the wagon. Like it was like, you
Yeah.
know, it got me back. I was like, oh man, this is great. Like, what's going on in this book now?
Yeah, so we got Spawn, Scorched, Seasons. Did we talk about Seasons number 2 last week?
I talked about the last issue. You didn't read it in time for the show. I don't think it was last week, but it was like you didn't read
I
it.
thought I read that.
You may have now, but when we recorded,
Oh yeah, maybe I read it after. That's why. Okay, I read it last week, but it's been out for a while.
yeah.
Yeah, that's about. Yeah, there's a lot going on in Image, but nothing I'm looking forward to.
So next week, yeah, big week for me too. Absolute Wonder Woman number 6. Got a good Sean Murphy cover variant on that one. Amazing Spider-Man 70, Batman 158. Yeah, the Hush stuff. That's that's starting out. I got Godzilla versus Fantastic Four, Nick Bradshaw cover there next week. Gromit's number 7, last issue of that. Looking forward to that. Harley Quinn 49, Justice League Unlimited 5. Kids, it's a one-shot by Garth Ennis. It may have got delayed. This might be the old listing for it. I'm not sure, but that's like a one-shot that he did. Rogue the Savage Land. I got 3 covers for that. Seasons number 3. Ultimate Spider-Man 15. Ultimate Wolverine 3. It's a good week. Ultra Mega, last issue of that. Wolverine Revenge, Red Band number 5, last issue of that. Wonder Woman 19. And then, yeah, you said a couple things I'll be reading digitally, FF, X-Manhunt, Thunderbolts, Weapon X-Men, Peacemaker. So, yeah, it's a big week. Big week. A lot of stuff I'm picking up. A lot of stuff we'll be talking about. So, yeah, look forward to that.
I think you might be able to fill a short box with all your Rogue Savage Land books.
I got a bunch of them displayed right now. So, yeah, probably. All right, Chris, your favorite book of the week.
Yeah, there were a couple to choose from.
Yeah.
The week started, my reading started out strong and then it kind of got a little bit weaker. But pretty much, I'd have to go at it between G.I. Joe and Batman. So I got to give it to Batman. Sorry, there we go. Got to give it to Batman. That one blew me up.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. G.I. Joe and Batman are in the running for me. Honestly, as well as One World Under Doom, I thought it was a good issue, maybe less so than those two. And The Deviant, I thought it was a really good ending to that series as well. So I'll give a shout out to that as well. And honestly, this, I almost was going to give it to this Superman, the one that's been gone for a year. Last Days of Lex Luthor number 2 was really solid. Honestly, I would probably put that in the running with G.I. Joe and Absolute Batman. I'm with you with those two. But right down to the wire. You gave it to which one?
All right. If you give me yours, you can't choose mine on the
Absolutely.
Of course, it's got to be Batman.
Yeah.
I
thought that
art kicked ass and the story was half decent. Like just a half decent story with kick ass art. That's a recipe for a winner.
And it's been one that we've been anticipating for this title. And again, he did a small a kid or whatever that was in this issue. So that's reason enough alone. Okay, no, I thought that's what you said, but I also missed it because I was like grabbing my books when you mentioned that. So there you go. Yeah, no, it was between G.I. Joe and, like I said, for the same reason for both these books, like where we waited 5 issues for the shit to hit.
It should have been the second issue. I can understand the first. It should have been the first issue. Like that's one that'll grab people.
Yeah.
But I can understand you have a crappy first issue because that's what they seem to do nowadays. And the second issue should be super awesome, and that is a super awesome issue. Not all this baloney that they put in between here and there. Like that story about bridges. Come on, what's that about?
Well, we're here now, and this has been a good issue.
We got Bane coming, so looking forward to some battles between you know, freaking if Batman's this juiced up, this Bane's gonna be a freaking monster.
Well, I was
He
gonna
better
say,
he better not be a skinny Bane.
well, here's the thing, Chris. I was thinking about this. I think they're going to do a reversal here, and he's going to break Bane's back. See what I mean, right?
We'll
Because
see. Who knows?
if he is this kind of Batman in this, where he's like seriously hurting these guys, then I think he could do, instead of him breaking Batman's back, he could break Bane's back maybe in this story, right? That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I would love it. And then like his knee will have like
Batman AF after he's posing down on him.
and then as he breaks his back on his knee, there's gonna be a spike that comes out of his knee armor. Right through his body. Can you imagine? It's
That's
great.
it.
Yeah. So, anyways, so that's gonna do it for this week, guys. We'll see you next time. And once again, make sure to check out the video that will be dropping around the same time for our new comic book solicitations for June of 2025. We're gonna be talking about the books we're looking forward to checking out. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.